everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a college advice episode, and I was on Snapchat yesterday and I was like, I kind of want to do a college advice video on my channel, and so I asked some of my followers if they have any questions about college life and stuff like that. So if you don't follow me on Snapchat already, it is at SamariSafari. I will have it in the down bar below, so make sure you follow me because I do tend to post when I'm going to ask my followers about questions or what they want to see in videos. A few of my followers ask me questions and I'm just going to be answering them, and I just want to put a disclaimer that everyone is different, everyone's college experience is different, and certain things work for people and certain things don't. I'm going to be giving you advice. You kind of have to tune it to your own fork basically, and you have to adapt it so that it will be successful for you. So with that being said, let's get started. First question is how to make friends, and this question was very repetitive amongst all my followers, and to be honest, I don't really have friends. I'm definitely kidding, but I don't have a lot of friends, and I just find that for me, because I am such an active student between my classes, between work, between being involved on campus, I find myself very, very busy, and not a lot of people tend to understand why I'm so busy, or they just tend to not really make the effort to try to hang out with me during my free time because they always think I'm so busy. I really say if you're going to a state university or whatever, they usually have a hashtag USF 20, FSC 20 and stuff like that. We made a group me with all the black students who use the USF 18 hashtag, and we made a group me, and that was a fun way, and that's actually how I met one of my best friends, Taman. So you could do that, make a group me with people who are prospective students at your college. Another recommendation is to sit by someone who always kind of sits by themselves in lecture, and sit by them every single day and make a habit out of it. I made so many friends just by repeatedly sitting next to them in class, and at first the discussions are going to be awkward because they're just going to be about the lectures, but soon enough you'll find that you'll start going to lunch together, you'll start asking about homework together and stuff like that. So that's another suggestion. The last suggestion is to make friends with the people you're in clubs with. Try to make the effort to be involved on campus. You don't have to go and join every single club and organization. That's not what I'm telling you to do, but find something that you're really, really passionate about. Find something where your heart belongs and make friends with people who are in that organization. I know I'm very introverted, so when I join clubs and organizations, I was these people are not gonna like me. You really have to put your foot forward and kind of break down that barrier if you really want to make friends in college. And I definitely would say try to make as much friends or associates your freshman year, because by the end of your second year you'll realize it's harder to make friends because everybody already has their kind of clique of friends, I would say. Definitely keep in mind that there are some shady people in college, I'm not afraid to say that, and the people that you might be friends with your freshman year are probably not going to be the same entire people that you are going to be friends with your senior year. You're going to meet so many people within 40,000 students or whatever, and you're going to lose some friends, you're going to make some new friends. So definitely don't be hesitant about making friends. I know it can be a very scary thing, but you got this. So that was question number 1. Question number 2, how do I survive Orgo? You cry. Orgo was hard, and if you don't know what Orgo means, it's the pre-med term for organic chemistry. It's one of the hardest classes. It's what they refer to as a weed out class, and so people who think they want to be pre-med after they take Orgo and they realize pre-med's not for them, they kind of just drop out the class. But it's a very, very rigorous class, and I would definitely say watch Khan Academy videos. That's how I was successful in Orgo. Watch Khan Academy videos, form study groups, don't be afraid to go to your teachers' office hours. And Orgo is one of those things, the more you do practice problems, the better you are at the theory and the concept behind all the problems. So definitely keep doing practice problems until you dream about Orgo, and then even when you're at that point, keep doing more. Most importantly, cry. You will find yourself shedding a lot of tears in Orgo, I promise you. What do you do when you have a shitty roommate? Well, I've heard horror stories about roommates, and thank God my roommates weren't that bad. If you have a shitty roommate, talk to your RA, and that's coming from an RA myself. We are trained to handle roommate conflicts. We're trained to do roommate mediations. Before you go to your RA, definitely try to approach that person. Don't go and gang up on them. Don't do that. Approach them, say hey, can we talk down? Here are the things that are bothering me. Is there anything that we can compromise on? Is there anything that we can do so that we can both live here? We can both bring friends over and stuff like that. So really identify the problem. Don't be afraid to speak out. But if you are finding that things are not getting better, talk to your RA, and then your RA will kind of mediate the situation. So yeah. What do you do if someone you love gets drunk and you have to take care of them? Ooh. My only piece of advice for this is don't be afraid to get a medical help. I forgot what the term is, but if someone is underage and they're drinking to the point where they're belligerent, they really can't function, if you get the medical help, you won't get in trouble. And so one of the main things that I hear about all the time as an RA and as a student at university is that people, they're going and getting so freaking drunk, and then their friends are afraid to go get help because they're underage and they're not supposed to be drinking. So in no way, shape, or form am I condoning underage drinking. You're not supposed to be doing that. That's against the law, but don't be afraid to get help. And that's the only answer I have for that question. Like, if your friend needs help, don't think like, oh, you know, a nap is going to, like, they'll sleep it off. No, go get help, because at the end of the day, your friend could be dying for all you know. So yeah. The next question is how to get over a failing test. This is hard for me. When I first failed a college exam, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, I'm gonna have to drop out of school. I called my parents crying, and it really took a lot out of me to try to come to terms with this failing grade. And for anyone who's kind of like really big on school, a failing grade is a C. So when I first got like my first C on an exam, I really doubted myself, because I was like, I studied hard for this exam, and obviously like I didn't study hard enough, and it came to the point where it's like the class was making me feel really stupid, and I wasn't enjoying it, and I was starting to lose a lot of hope, and I was starting to lose a lot of faith. And then I realized, like, Smart, there are really like college kids out here who are really like getting F's on every single exam and really are on academic probation. Like, you cannot give up hope just because of one failing grade. And so what I recommend you doing is going to your teacher's office hours saying, hey, I got a really bad grade on my exam. Can you tell me which problems I got wrong and why I got them wrong? And like, your professor will help you like kind of navigate his mindset and kind of realize like, hey, this is how you should work through this problem. So I definitely recommend doing that, because if you do that, you can kind of figure out how your professor like gives out his exams, and from there you can study like that. I would also definitely say, like, just don't give up. Like, you are going to get a failing grade in college. Like, everybody has one of those bad days. It's not the end of the world. Just be happy like you're really not on academic probation, and hopefully like you're in a class where you get one dropped exam. And if you do get one dropped exam, just make it your dropped exam, and like promise yourself that you're gonna go twice as hard with studying. Don't kill yourself, but promise yourself you're gonna go twice as hard with studying, and you're going to ace your next exam. So yeah. How do you manage your schoolwork and still be able to have time for yourself? I don't sleep. I'm kidding, but you kind of have to define what you want to accomplish when you say time for yourself. So for me, time for myself is filming a YouTube video, or time for myself is like getting my nails done or something like that, or time for myself is even like closing my door, like kind of shutting out my residence and kind of like getting like a good like 3-hour nap or something like that. So for me, I'm really big on time management, and so what I'll do is like I have a planner, and my planner is like vertical, so it goes by hourly, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, noon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Usually I will plan out my weeks ahead of time with like my lectures, my meetings, like my doctor's appointment, personal stuff I have to take care of. I can't talk. And then the day before, if I know like I don't have something to do like right away, or if I have a little free extra time, that's when I will schedule time for myself, and that's when I will schedule time to hang out with my friends who I haven't seen in a while. So it's really all about time management and stuff like that. But you have to remember that school is your #1 priority, and some things like you are going to have to sacrifice yourself on. Do you recommend students to work their first year or focus on their schoolwork? I didn't work my first year of college just because my parents are sticklers about school. The parents were always like, school is your job. And then second year I became an RA, and I also work at a desk, so I have 2 jobs, and I'm balancing school and YouTube and stuff like that. So I would definitely say go for it if you feel like you need to. Like obviously you don't want to be broke. Like being broke in college is not fun at all, but you kind of have to know your limits and know what you can handle. So if you feel like you have a big exam coming up and you know you can't get to study because you're working so often, maybe try to ask your job for like time off or something like that so you can really ace your exam. So it's all recommend on like what you can handle. I would say if you need to work, definitely, but it all depends on the person and their situation. So when's the best time to do our work? The day it's assigned or a week later? So in college, you'll get like a syllabus and it'll have like all your assignments and exams listed out for the rest of the semester. When you get your syllabus, I definitely would recommend like going through your planner and writing down all your due dates for the rest of the semester. I'm a very futuristic worker, so not a lot of students relate to me. A lot of people have problems with procrastination, but I like to do my homework way ahead of time so that when the due date actually comes, like I'm kind of chilling or something like that, or when it's the end of the semester, I don't have any work to do. So when I know like I have a big project, I like to work on it 2-3 weeks in advance and like little by little accomplish the project. And so when it's the week of the project, I have time to edit it, I have time to review it. I will submit it a few days early, and if something goes wrong, for instance Canvas goes down or something like that, my project is done. I hate waiting last minutes because you never know what's gonna happen. Trying to turn in a paper like 2 minutes before due and like your computer dies, your computer crashes or whatever. I've seen it happen a million times. So I definitely say try to do your assignment a little bit beforehand. You don't have to do it the day it's assigned because obviously professors don't really give like assigned homeworks unless like you do like an online like mastering physics or something like that. When you have that, I would definitely say kind of try to do a little by little until it's due, but definitely like don't wait last minute. So that's that. How to not let a party distract you. Y'all went to school to get an education. If you don't sit your little ass down and do your homework instead of going to that party. The last question is pertaining to study habits, like how do you study properly, how can you improve your study habits. You kind of have to experiment with what's helpful for you. For me, if I have to memorize like a bunch of different terms, I will get flashcards and like I will carry the flashcards with me every single where I go, and I will flip through flashcards over and over and over again until like it's edged in my brain. Another thing that works for me is oh, excuse me, I had to burp. That's disgusting. Another thing that works for me is writing all my notes over and over again, because the more you write, the more it's kind of etched in your brain. So I will have my notes from class, and I kind of take sloppy notes in class. And then what I'll do is I'll rip the pages out, go into my notebook, rewrite all my notes, write it with diagrams, color code it, make sure everything looks nice and neat, and then I'll go ahead and do it again. Write it again, and then I'll go ahead and type it. And I know that seems excessive, but literally the more you write it, the more you see the words, the more it's going to pop into your brain. I also really like studying with friends. When you're trying to explain a concept to your friend, it helps you remember it more. And so those are little tips that I have that have been successful with me studying, but you kind of have to figure out what works for you. So a lot of people, they like to study with music. I don't know why. A lot of people like to study in peace and quiet, like dead silence. They don't want to hear a pin drop. So it kind of depends on who you are as a student and what you're trying to accomplish with your grades. So I definitely would say if you haven't figured out your go-to study habit, try to experiment a little bit. You have small quizzes, kind of change up your study habit for each quiz until you figure out what works best for you. So yeah. Those are all the questions I have for today. I will be doing another episode once I accumulate more questions. So if you have questions, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can ask me on any one of my social media platforms. My Instagram and Twitter is I Was Born to Laugh, and my Snapchat is again SamariSafari. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. So if you haven't done so already, please check out my latest video. It is a simple, lightweight summer makeup routine featuring all drugstore products. It will be listed in the down bar below, and also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.